The tension at training camp has reached a level we haven't seen in years. Key pieces are moving, and the doubts just keep piling up. Why does nobody have the guts to own up to what's actually going on? Hold on to your anxiety, because what I'm about to tell you is going to shake you up. And that's not even the most worrying part, because the situation in the backfield is sparking an intense debate that could define the fate of our offense this season. The Las Vegas Raiders running game is going to be absolutely vital. We have new quarterbacks coming in and huge uncertainties at the wide receiver position, which puts a colossal weight on whoever has the ball in their hands running through the dirt. The new head coach Klint Kubiak has a known track record. He loves to run the ball, loves to establish a physical tempo, and is going to carry the play volume on the back of Ashton Jeanty. But hold on a second, is trusting just a single running back over an entire NFL season a smart strategy or a total shot in the foot? The Raiders know very well that the human body takes a beating in this league. That's why the franchise drafted Mike Washington Jr., a kid who could take on a much bigger role than expected this season. Dylan Lobb is also still on the roster, but let's be honest, he has a very specific profile. He is essentially a third down running back and a valuable contributor on special teams, not the guy to carry the piano all game long. And this is exactly where the controversy begins. The Raiders just cut Chris Collier, one of the most experienced running backs in the whole group. Letting go of experience in a young locker room definitely raises eyebrows. According to reports, the front office is clearly not satisfied with the current depth and wants to add another heavy-hitting veteran. It's worth remembering that the team had already tried reaching out to former Pro Bowler Miles Sanders, but talks didn't go anywhere, and he left Las Vegas without signing a contract. Facing this scenario of uncertainty, the franchise decided to bring in 3 more running backs for workouts and intense visits at the training facility. According to NFL Insider reports, the Raiders took a close look at Kenny McIntosh, Dare Ogunbowale, and James Robinson. James Robinson is, without a doubt, the flashiest name on that list. Who doesn't remember the explosive impact of his rookie season with the Jacksonville Jaguars when he rushed for over 1,000 yards with sheer power and determination? However, football is ruthless. He couldn't replicate that massive success and recently spent time in the UFL trying to prove he still has gas in the tank. Is he a redemption bet or just a body to take up space in training camp? Kenny McIntosh, on the other hand, brings an interesting tactical element. He worked directly with Klint Kubiak with the Seattle Seahawks last season. The familiarity with the playbook is there, which makes the transition easier. On the other side, Dare Ogunbowale is a veteran of nearly a decade in the league, known mostly for his durability and for acting as a reliable pass catcher out of the backfield with the Texans, even though he never topped 200 rushing yards in a single season. Is this a smart search for depth or a sign of early panic from the coaching staff? While the front office scratches their heads to finalize the roster, the internal atmosphere seems to be living in a completely different reality. The vibe behind the scenes has shifted radically compared to the absolute chaos of last season in 2025, considered one of the worst in the franchise's recent history, marked by embarrassing losses, mid-season coaching firings, and a completely toxic environment. But hold on, because what comes next changes the perspective on the group. Ashton Jeanty, now entering his second year with the franchise, opened up to reporters and made a point of emphasizing that the energy inside the building has changed completely. According to him, there is a palpable urgency and a standard of excellence that starts at the very top of the organizational pyramid, and it doesn't stop there. With the departure of old leadership and the need to step up, Jeanty is taking on a much more vocal posture. He publicly acknowledged that year 1 was a whirlwind of learning, but now expectations are sky high, and he needs to make a colossal qualitative leap, starting with being a better leader for his teammates. Is this genuine leadership from someone who wants to change the franchise's history, or just nice preseason talk to calm down the fan base? Time will tell, but the pressure on this kid's shoulders is simply monumental. But hold on, because what's happening at the quarterback position is enough to take any Raiders fan's breath away. The franchise surprised everyone by naming Kirk Cousins as the starting QB1 right at the start of training camp. But think about it, is this a decision purely based on the veterans? Immediate merit or a calculated chess move to take the unbearable pressure off the shoulders of our golden rookie, Fernando Mendoza, letting him learn Klint Kubiak's complex system without being thrown to the Lions prematurely? Mendoza has spent his days soaking everything in from the sideline and behind the scenes, showing an impressive grasp of the playbook. And it's not just me saying this. On August 2nd, wide receiver Jalen Nailor opened up to the press and dropped a statement that left a lot of people's jaws dropping regarding the rookie's progress since he arrived as the #1 pick of the 2026 NFL Draft. According to Nailor, the kid is already taking total control of the offense with a scary maturity. He doesn't look like a lost rookie in the huddle. On the contrary, he speaks up loud and clear, making sure everyone hears the play call without hesitation. Mendoza's daily growth and his knack for absorbing tactical complexities have caught the attention of everyone sweating it out on the field every day. And head coach Klint Kubiak backed up that chorus in an interview with NFL Network, showering praise on the young quarterback's unshakable work ethic, highlighting that he has the right head on his shoulders to handle the immense adversity of playing in the NFL. However, it's not all sunshine and roses, and there are serious disagreements between the optimism on the practice field and the cold reality of TV analysts. Dan Orlovsky, an ESPN expert, caused controversy by openly stating that he doesn't believe Fernando Mendoza is remotely ready to run an NFL-level offense right now. In Orlovsky's view, the coaching staff should hold the rookie back as long as possible, maybe saving his debut for the final stretch of the season, way down in November, in case the team needs a breath of fresh air. Orlovsky's argument is surgical. The offensive system Klint Kubiak demands is infinitely more complex than anything Mendoza has ever seen in his college career. We are talking about long play calls, full of technical terms, protection variations, and coverage reads that require years of experience. Putting a rookie out there to process 12 to 14-word plays in the huddle under the deafening pressure of a packed stadium could be a point of no return for the athlete's confidence. This raises a brutal doubt in the mind of any passionate fan. If the rookie is doing as well as the players say, why do the experts insist he's going to struggle so much? Are we witnessing a generational talent being masterfully protected, or a high-stakes draft pick who came out way too green for the reality of the pro league? Las Vegas's strategy with Cousins and Mendoza is a high-risk, high-reward bet. If Cousins keeps the offense steady while Mendoza absorbs the playbook in the shadows, the front office will look like geniuses. But if the team stumbles in the opening weeks and the fans start chanting the rookie's name in the stands, the pressure is going to explode in a way Klint Kubiak might not be able to control under the spotlight. The clock is ticking, and managing this transition at the most important position in sports is going to define whether we have a resurgent season or another year of absolute chaos in Las Vegas. And the fans, of course, are caught in the middle of this crossfire, not knowing whether to root for caution or demand immediate boldness on the field. And to wrap up today's bundle of bombshells, we need to talk about a signing that flew kind of under the radar for the national media, but has the absolute potential to turn our defense into a total destruction machine in Sin City. Quay Walker arrived in the franchise this offseason after leaving Green Bay, generating way fewer headlines than other hyped-up Raiders arrivals. But reports coming straight from training camp tell a completely different story, suggesting we are looking at one of the most crucial and impactful acquisitions for either side of the ball. The big win here is the perfect tactical fit in defensive coordinator Rob Leonard's aggressive scheme. Walker revealed that the new system finally uses him the way he always dreamed throughout his career, moving him all over the defensive formation, taking away that annoying tag of being stuck in a single static role. For a linebacker with his frame and scary speed athletic ability that left Maxx Crosby himself dropping his jaw the first time he saw him in action on the practice field, this positional versatility is a lethal weapon. Modern defenses that can disguise blitzes and alignments create an absolute nightmare for opposing offensive coordinators when it comes to identifying blocking assignments before the snap. If Leonard's scheme actually delivers that advantage in the heat of live games, we're going to have a defensive unit that looks unrecognizable compared to last year. Logan, there's a curious detail full of nostalgia in this story: the locker room reunion factor. Walker arrived in Las Vegas accompanied by old college teammates from Georgia Nakobe Dean and Eric Stokes. Even though he insists it was a happy coincidence and not a meticulously planned blueprint in free agency, emotional chemistry and shared history matter enormously in practice. The transition to a demanding coaching staff was smoothed out by the presence of familiar faces, especially with Nakobe Dean taking over the green dot on-field play-calling duties. With Dean managing the main communication, Walker can focus on what he does best: reading the game in real time, shooting through gaps, and blowing up plays without the excessive mental weight of having to relay all the tactical calls to the rest of the defense. This smart division of tasks allows both athletes to play with total freedom and pure instinct. Still, it's not all flowers, and we need to keep our feet on the ground. Walker was completely honest in admitting that losing the exclusivity of the green dot required a certain amount of mental adjustment, even though he framed the change as a bonus to purely focus on his on-field aggressiveness. It remains to be seen how this gear will respond when opposing offenses use a no-huddle tempo to try and confuse the duo in the regular season. Besides that, Walker's glowing praise for Maxx Crosby's recovered health brings immense relief to the fan base. Knowing that our main defensive predator is free from the injuries that limited him last year completely changes the defensive ceiling of the team. Even so, there are unanswered questions. The communication between the different defensive personnel groups is still a work in progress, getting better day by day, but far from perfection. And Walker himself admitted he hasn't had to face running back Ashton Jeanty in full contact situations with full protections yet, which means his rave reviews about the rookie's power still need real-world fire tests. Is this the foundation of an elite defense, or just typical over-the-top preseason optimism? The definitive answer is only going to show up when the clock hits 0 on the first Sunday of September in Las Vegas. Now that you've seen everything going on, answer me honestly, are we building a resilient roster ready to surprise the world, or piling up risky bets that could collapse at the slightest sign of a crisis? Between building the backfield, the meticulous management of Fernando Mendoza, and the aggressive defensive rebuild with Quay Walker, the future of the Raiders is on the line, so go ahead and hit that like button, share with that fellow fan friend, and drop a comment right down here. Is this a genius path to the top, or are we watching a gigantic problem grow in silence? Until next time, Raiders Nation.